Hip-hop journalism has evolved over the decades, with prominent names on television, radio, and in print publications. But more and more, we are finding hip-hop journalists not necessarily working their way up the ranks of traditional media outlets, and zooming their way at top speed into our consciousness by way of the online informational highway. Enter news reporter personality DJ Akademiks, podcaster Adam22, and music reviewer Anthony Fantano, three of online hip-hop's journalism's frequent faces in your web browser. With Akademiks, Adam, and Anthony, the three A's of .com commentary, moving into areas where the music video program or printed periodicals used to firmly occupy, what exactly is the state of online hip-hop journalism in 2019? The uncompromised, unadulterated, real talk that you get from Doggy Diamonds on Doggy Diamonds TV and Forbes DVD mixes relevant social commentary with refreshing hip-hop purity. The hilarious yet incredibly passionate take on hip-hop history that you can only get from veteran spitter Nori and DJ Effin, hip-hop legends, mega potent liquor bottles, has turned into the very necessary Drink Champs show. Who hasn't spent hours on hours watching Charlemagne the God, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy chop it up with celebrity hip-hop notables on The Breakfast Club, or kept our retinas glued to YouTube while Joe Budden, Rory, and Mal constructively argue rap-related barbershop gossip and most of the music moving through the culture on the Joe Budden podcast? But with hip-hop journalism narrowing more towards becoming an online news thing, are the options dwindling when news itself gets diminished into the vague catchphrase called content? Vibe editor-in-chief Datwan Thomas has said, "What's right to put out there? What's good to have circling in the internet and in the galaxy? It's tough to make that call. Do you go with the old school value of you got the information, put it out? Or do you go with the you know what could potentially happen and you can make things worse if you put it out if it's not attributed to something?" All these different things. You have the already hectic aspect of journalistic integrity, but you also have to have some sort of moral obligation to not make the world worse with what's going on now. Sway Calloway, the Oakland rapper turned co-creator of the internationally known historical platform for lyrics, The Wake Up Show, has leveled up into more mainstream circles via MTV and Eminem's Shade 45 on SiriusXM. In fact, back in November 2013 on Sway's Universe, Kanye West may have made the infamous statement, "You ain't got the answers, Sway," but that once viral media headline did nothing to tarnish the impeccable reputation of Sway Calloway, hip-hop journalist and unquestioned connoisseur of the culture. Who else could find a way to handle a loud and irate Kanye without depriving the audience of a proper interview, and still reminding the outspoken star that you may be able to scream at some reporters and get away with it, but not Sway, who told Kanye on camera, "You ain't gotta turn up on me, man to man, dog, these mics. We could turn all off. You ain't gotta do this. It's cool. I love you, bro. You ain't gotta turn up. Don't try to embarrass us." After Sway and Ye got back on the same page, Sway ended the interview with the coolest demand for respect that you can't do nothing but respect when he calmly and sincerely informed Kanye West, "Don't yell at me again on the mic, alright?" While speaking to Rapzilla.com in April 2016, Sway Calloway described what hip-hop radio and journalism has been about. The reason why I give underground artists more exposure is because I don't know if people reason that Sway and Tech were artists before we got into the radio. So I recall a time when you just couldn't get a lot of opportunity if you didn't have the right affiliation. And you definitely wasn't going to get on platforms that you wanted to be on if you didn't have the right affiliation. I don't think music should be defined by affiliation or money or who you're down with. I think it should be determined by talent. I like to be on the front end of their trajectory. I like to be a part of their story. And if I think that people have something to offer, I want to give them that platform. It's just that simple. With Sway's solid hip-hop pedigree dating back to the early 90s and the mutual high regard that he has earned from the South Bronx to South Central Los Angeles, Sway Calloway sets the bar up to Mars for the younger voices like DJ Akademiks, Adam22, and Anthony Fantano. Now, let's take a wide-eyed look at 2019, starting off with arguably the most recognized of the trip, DJ Akademiks. This Jamaican-American New Jersey online hip-hop personality first got things jumping on YouTube, providing satirical commentary on urban entertainment situations, particularly the Chicago drill scene at one point, now currently having amassed over 2 million subscribers and over 1 billion views. The Daily Dot labeled Akademiks hip-hop's one-man TMZ, putting forward a brand that is passionate enough about rap to pay attention to its gossip in minute detail. DJ Akademiks expressed his method of figuring out what to post and how to trust his own process to dailydot.com. Number 1, does my audience care about this? Number 2, for the discussion we are going to have, is this relevant? Number 3, are these all the facts that are important to the case for us to even have a discussion in the first place? My type of people who think like me, listen to music like me, and most likely act and react like me, and not only that, but what's relevant to me is relevant to them. Akademiks has stepped things up nicely with a complex media paycheck for becoming one of the core co-hosts for the polished hip-hop web series, Everyday Struggle. He often makes provocative statements regarding modern rappers with a web-savvy, keyword-rich response to journalism, always ready to get you clicking on his headline-worthy discussions. Next up is Adam22, the Los Angeles-based internet personality and creator of the hip-hop podcast No Jumper, which has over 1 million Instagram followers. Rolling Stone labeled Adam22 underground hip-hop's major tastemaker, while he has also been referred to by Hot 97's Peter Rosenberg as being an advanced scout searching for combustible new talent. Adam22's love of BMX bike riding is also incorporated in the No Jumper vibration, with its own site called thecomeUp.com. No Jumper had its origin as a Tumblr blog, but was reconfigured as a podcast in 2015, with Adam22 interviewing rappers and public figures, including the deceased rapper XXXTentacion's first long-form interview in 2016. March 2018 marked a major transition for Adam22, who made it known that he began a partnership with Atlantic Records to formulate No Jumper Records, with the first release from the label being a track called Hard by TK and Blockboy JB. There is also the monthly live concert series that Adam22 manages to put on at the Los Angeles music venue Echoplex, giving some serious light to rappers and producers that are on the rise. During a July 2017 interview with Rolling Stone, Adam22 laid out his introduction to Los Angeles and No Jumper. When I first moved to LA like 4 or 5 years ago, I remember there was a moment where I was like, man, I'm not grinding anymore. I'm not waking up feeling like I'm chasing after something. I knew I wanted a podcast at that point. I knew I wanted a bike shop. I knew I wanted to get way more serious about a clothing line. I think I was smart that I started No Jumper real small, he says. I was doing interviews with underground dudes that knew me and respected me. I didn't have the perspective of, oh, I have to go get an interview with somebody who's very significant. To me, guys like Xavier Wolf were significant as because that was actually who I was listening to. Last but not least, Anthony Fantano, self-described as the internet's busiest music nerd, is that music critic guy with the glasses that seems to never run out of music reviews for you to consume online. With over 1 million YouTube subscribers to his channel labeled The Needle Drop and over 400 million plays on that platform, Anthony Fantano has made a striking impact with an extensive amount of album review videos that have been watched over 1 million times. Like Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly, Kanye West The Life of Pablo, Drake's Scorpion, Eminem Kamikaze, and Travis Scott's Astroworld. But not every single hip-hop album that Anthony Fantano reviews is your super promoted major label superstar rap project. Anthony also threw his review at the Mad Villainy album created by MF Doom and Madlib, Run the Jewels 3, and even a throwback 1994 classic album like Nas' Illmatic. While speaking with SpireMagazine.com, Anthony talked about his approach as an online music critic. Pretty much everything I say in a review, I would say face to face if we were talking about an album. The degree to which I alter my speech or mannerisms when I'm on camera during a review is pretty much the same that I would do if I was giving a small presentation. It's pretty much like me doing a book report on an album, you know what I mean? There's not really a character or anything. Only DJ Akademiks seems to be completely banking on hip-hop, appearing to drive right into the messy social media clickbait sensationalism with statements that attract the trolls like a cheese wheel to a mousetrap. Adam22 is musically entrenched in hip-hop, but also works his BMX bike interest into his business model, while Anthony Fantano's music tastes span beyond hip-hop into rock, pop, electronic, metal, jazz, and folk. To break down what these three guys offer to online hip-hop journalism, DJ Akademiks is where you go to for the up-to-the-second trending topics. Adam22 is where you go to for interviews with that hot new up-and-coming rapper, and Anthony Fantano is where you go to for music reviews with some humor and personal honesty attached. What they all have in common is that the internet made them all known to us, with Anthony Fantano and DJ Akademiks beginning with YouTube and Adam22 starting off a Tumblr. social media still has the word media in it, which in the past would have been reserved for television, radio, film, books, magazines, newspapers, and advertisements. We can't go back in time and ask these three gentlemen to reset their origin stories into a traditional media landscape instead of building their names online. In fact, their online personas, fairly aligned with their real personalities, have enabled them, with the help of some Wi-Fi service, to create such a wide-ranging audience that they are often compared to the legitimized music journalism giants without having to abide by the same rules of their journalistic procedure. Their brands help them blur those lines, while their constantly consumed personalities become even more embedded in viewer psyches than talk show hosts or radio DJs. While online hip-hop journalism is continuing to go the entertaining persona route over the well-researched music expert approach in 2019, could controversies like hate from other rappers towards Akademiks, sexual misconduct allegations against Adam 22, or Anthony Fantano's feud with the Fader over presumed alt-right catering make audiences grow weary of these young men's personality brands and look for other relatable online hip-hop lovers to provide them with their info? I guess we'll have to wait and see.